My name's Loki. I'm originally from the UK, but today we're in sunny Chiang Mai, Thailand.
And you just told me about your health. Like, I know you've been eating a different diet for a while. Can you tell me firstly about your diet?
Okay, my diet's comprised of raw fruits, vegetables, and sort of a smattering of nuts and seeds, mostly fruits, with some salads as well.
Okay, and how did you used to eat?
Well, I was vegetarian basically all my life, and you kind of think that's going to be enough, but I guess in retrospect it wasn't. And then I was even vegan for several years before getting into the raw food lifestyle. It wasn't even complete junk food, but it was a pretty normal average diet that just happened to be vegan, I would say.
And how come you changed your diet?
Well, I heard about raw foods, and you know, I'm a curious person, and in retrospect, after changing my diet, I realized how many problems I had that I just took as being, you know, a normal part of life before. Some physical, but mostly for me, mental.
Okay, so yeah, try and explain what it was you experienced.
Okay. Well, even when I just started getting into raw foods and including fresh fruit into my life, you know, having smoothies rather than toast for breakfast, or seeing fruit as something that you make a meal out of rather than something you try and cram in between meals because you feel guilty. Even just doing the first couple of steps, I noticed a huge difference in just my state of being. I guess in retrospect, I've always struggled to feel okay, and you kind of, people that have the same challenges, I think, attract each other, and it stops you realizing the extent of your problems and the fact that it's not normal for it to be such a hard task to just be happy, you know, as a default state. And that is what has happened since I started including these kinds of foods in my diet. Just happiness as default. It's like, you know, when you're a kid, you're happy and someone has to make you unhappy. Most adults, it's the other way around. And thankfully, I've got back to that state of, you know, being a kid, but in a good way.
So, can you try and explain how you felt back on the cooked food, and what was your mood like when you woke up in the morning and during the day?
Everything felt kind of like a struggle, to be honest with you, and I thought that was just kind of the way the world was. Like, I would feel okay at one minute and very unhappy the next. I would get angry a lot more, and if I got angry about things, it would stay with me for a long time, and I would just kind of wallow in a bit of a cycle, really, of just kind of complaining and not seeing things clearly. Like, I guess, to use a childhood analogy again, but in a different way, sometimes when you get older and wiser, you look back on another time of your life and you could see what seemed like a really kind of confusing problem at the time was actually quite simple and clear, and you were just kind of chasing your tail a lot. Since I started eating a better diet, a raw food diet, I had that same feeling. I can see that the way I was in the past was completely clouded and unclear, and the way that I am now is a lot of clarity, and I can see the wood for the trees, if you know what I mean.
So are you just happy all the time, or?
I mean, obviously stuff happens to everyone, and you are always going to have like an up and down of peaks and troughs in your life, but I'm functioning at a lot higher place now, and when things happen, it's much quicker that I get back on track, you know, and it's prompted me, you know, what you put in your body and your mind, they're obviously intertwined and they affect each other. So getting healthier in my whole body has prompted me to care enough about myself in a way to pursue developing myself in basically all other areas, whether it's my work or my personal relationships, and yeah, even my emotions, basically. So it was the catalyst to push me in a direction where I'm just a lot more in control of my reaction to things in a good way. And even if I'd have started reading the books that I have been reading and listening to the speakers that I have been listening to without eating this diet, I don't think I would have taken it on board, and I don't think I would have had the base level to grow from. I think it's one of the most intimate relationships you have with the world, you know, what you put in your body, what you eat, you know, it becomes a part of you.
So why is it that it's affecting the mood, you think?
Well, I think it's push and pull factors. Like, to put it simply, there are a lot of bad things in the food-like substances that we consume, and if you're consuming refined sugar and oils and MSG and maybe even processed soy products, that kind of thing, like, it does affect your mood. I mean, these small physical things obviously have a knock-on effect on bigger things. If you normally eat breakfast and you skip breakfast, you're not the same person, you know, by lunchtime. If you didn't sleep properly last night, you're not the same person. And if you put different food in your mouth, you're not the same person either, I don't think. So there's a lot of bad things in there which automatically get cut out when you go raw, or when you start eating a high proportion of raw, you know, eating things that don't have ingredients lists. But then in terms of pull factors, there's obviously a lot of nutrients that I was missing out on. You know, things like omega-3s or zinc even, that are really connected to how balanced you are, you know, with your brain, you know, to have a healthy functioning brain and not have, you know, brain fog or, you know, rattiness or things like that.
So would you ever go back to eating cooked?
No. I mean, even in the kind of transitional phases, eating, whatever your program is, you know when you're going wrong and you eat something outside of the program. So, I mean, even if a person does go back, it's like for a second, and then they realize what they should have done. And I mean, sometimes it's healthy to be reminded of how important what you're doing is, and to not take for granted what you've achieved and how far you've come from who you used to be. But I don't see myself stepping outside of the healthy diet and lifestyle that I've chosen for myself.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing.
Pleasure.
You have a YouTube channel, by the way? You want to?
Yeah. It's if you search Raw Thought on YouTube, you can find me there, where I talk about raw foods and vegan travel and mastering your thoughts, basically. Raw Thoughts. So yeah, check it out, and I'm on Instagram as well at Raw Thought.
Thank you so much.
Hvis du gerne vil vide mere om, hvordan man helbreder sig selv naturligt, så gå over på min hjemmeside Rask på Raw. Her kan du tilmelde dig mit gratis videocrash-kursus, og så lærer jeg dig meget mere om principperne og kosten, så du selv kan komme i gang. Og forresten, husk at abonnere på mig på YouTube, hvis du gerne vil se flere gode videoer.